Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Babylon. Y la verdad, estoy súper contento because today we have Rob, producer, songwriter, and let's not forget, singer.
Maybe not singing today, but yeah, I guess you could say I'm a singer as well.
I mean, yeah, you are a singer.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but like always, before we start, we would like to give our thanks to our sponsor, Oscar. So, if anybody wants to buy, sell, or rent a place, always contact Oscar Messina, porque la verdad, ya lo he dicho muchas veces, vuelvo a decir, uno de los mejores. I freaking love this guy. He's just amazing. Oscar, once again, thank you so much for being a sponsor. And by all means, like if you need to sell your house, buy a house, or even find a place to live and rent, contact Oscar. He's amazing. He's great. All right, so I'm really happy you're here. Thank you
Always
so much.
a pleasure being here. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course. I mean, so for a lot of you that don't know, one of my great friends is Laura, who's a phenomenal singer here in Chicago. Very well known for one of her hit songs called "Only in My Dreams." Um, Told me, hey, you know what? I'm working on a new song. And I'm like, yeah, okay, because Laura is like pulling teeth to get her to do something. She's always so busy and she's always running around. And when she told me, I was like, holy shit, it's real. And she's like, yeah, you're gonna love it. I love it. And sure enough, when I heard it, I was like, wow. So I had to reach out to you and be like, hey, what's this? What's going on?
Yeah, yeah. It was definitely nice working with her. I hadn't worked with her in 25 years, so I got to be a part of that Only in My Dreams record because of Carlos Mojica. Rest in peace. Uh, he was one of the very first producers that I had ever met, and he had a really good polished sound, and so I wanted to kind of learn from him. So at the time, I had a small recording studio in my house, and I was what 19, right? So my parents have always been very supportive of my music. So I had a small little recording studio in the basement, and Carlos didn't have a vocal booth at the time, so he asked if he could come over, and we got to work on that record, and I got to do some of the vocal production on there, and I've stayed in contact with Laura, all these years. She's a great friend, and but a lot of years passed. Like life moves pretty fast, like Ferris Bueller says, and in passing, I'd always be like, we got to do something together, and yeah, we got to do something, and it just kind of, nothing came of it. And as I was telling you earlier, so recently, turns out that my 15-year-old Roberto, he loves freestyle. Like he turns out he likes house music and freestyle, which I was very surprised by because I normally don't play it at home because nobody likes it at home. So and then I'm usually listening to. I'm a product of the '80s, so I listen to a lot of '80s stuff. I'm kind of stuck in that era, and but anyway, I heard him one day, playing freestyle music, and I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, where'd you listen to this? How are you? He's like, oh yeah, I love it. All my friends listen to it, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, of course, it had to be your friends to influence you because I've been trying to influence you with some of these songs. But I reached out to Laura because my son had heard Only in My Dreams and didn't believe that I had something to do with that record. He's like, nah, you didn't. You didn't do anything. So I had to prove to him. And so I called up Laura and I got her on speakerphone and I said, hey, my son says, I don't know you and I've never, met you and I've never, so she kind of schooled him and said, no, yeah, your dad's a great producer and, he did work on that record. So, when I get off the phone with her, before getting off the phone, I'm like, you know what? I'm like, this time we really got to do something together. I'm like, and So ever since COVID, I've been very, very active in music because COVID kind of gave me the flexibility to be able to work from home. So now that I'm in front of my computer a lot, I can basically sit in the studio, and that's been good for me because I went through this phase where when I stopped doing music, because responsibilities and work and whatever, so you just kind of put things aside. And but because of COVID, I was kind of doing stuff a lot more quickly. I found myself being able to write songs in a matter of hours instead of sometimes years or months. But um, so with Laura, I ended up writing this beat in a day, basically a day or no, it was about 2 days. I spoke to her and I said I'll get you something soon, and she didn't realize how soon was going to be. I guess maybe she just thought it was something I said she'd probably never hear from me again. And I don't know, I just had that music in me, and I laid it down and I sent it to her, and she loved it. She's like, oh my god, she's like, I can hear the passion in the music. Those are her exact words. And I'm like, yeah, I definitely felt something in it. So next step was to come up with lyrics and the melody, and I was able to come up with those pretty quickly. And then I so in order for her to learn the song, I had to sing it and then use AI to use a female voice. And Laura's voice, she's a very big Selena. She really loves Selena, so I used an AI version of Selena to sing this freestyle song so that she could hear it in basically in a voice similar to hers. And yeah, she heard it and she loved it. We got in the studio right away. I think maybe about a week later or so, she came by and we laid down a rough draft of it. And I was really digging it, as soon as I was hearing it. And so I just kind of gave her that as homework. I said, okay, now you've got a version with you singing in it, and go ahead and listen to it. And so Laura is like I tell her whatever I ask her to do, she does the complete opposite. Laura never listens to me, and siempre la estoy regañando. And but so it turned out that the demo that she had, she let Tim Schomer listen to it
Oh no!
before we even got to lay down final
Oh no!
vocals. So she sent me a message. She's like, don't be mad, but I let Tim Schomer hear the song and he loves it, and he wants to premiere it. And I'm like, Laura, we're not even done with the song, um, so she came back and we did a final take. We were in the studio for a few hours, and what I told her is the way to really get people hooked on this song is for you to kind of bring out the emotion that the lyrics have and sing it in a very emotional way, so that so that when girls hear it, they'll go, "Oh, that's my jam." They could feel it. So she definitely put the emotion into it, and I think that's evident in the final take of her vocals. And yeah, we wrapped it up. So in 2 sessions, we wrapped it up, and
That's
I did
amazing.
all the mixing and mastering myself, and we sent it over to Tim Schomer, and he premiered it, and shouts out to Tim Schomer. Thanks so much for your support there, and for all the other DJs that have been very supportive. So it's been premiered in all different kinds of TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and stuff. So appreciate everybody who's been helping us get the word out yourself too. So thanks, Charlie.
No,
And
no one is. I mean, this is just my opinion, so don't come for me. But I think no one is as important as Tim. Tim has
oh
this
yeah,
legacy,
Tim is the icon of
and
freestyle in Chicago.
yeah. So if he approves of it,
Yeah.
that means it's great.
Yeah, no, I'm so appreciative of Tim. I mean,
Yeah, I love Tim.
I
Tim is
grew up
awesome.
listening to Tim Spin and Shomer. When I started as a DJ as well, and I'd always be listening to B96 and listening to the Saturday night dance party, I think is what it was called or whatever, and to hear Tim Spin and Shomer mixing, and I'd be listening to the songs it had, and I'd go to the record store. What's that song that Tim Shomer? So still a fan of Tim Shomer, and '96, and he had a show on the '96. He premiered Laura's "Only in My Dream" record on.
No
Yeah, so
way.
I actually went to the radio station with Laura, and we gave Tim a copy, and I remember him playing it on the radio. I actually still have a cassette because I recorded that episode, where he premiered "Only in My Dreams," and I was like, my song's on B96, but and it wasn't my song, but it was a song that I got to work on, and I thought it was really cool. So it was like a cool moment for me. So
That's actually amazing. I obviously I talk about Laurel here a lot because she's one of my great friends and I love her to death. I actually have a picture with Laura. Uh, this I'm pretty sure. Yep, right there. um, that's actually we took that picture in a session because we do have a song together. Um, and she's just phenomenal. She is. One thing I love about Laura is that she catches up real quick.
oh yeah,
Like when she listens to something, like I mean,
yeah.
she that night that was the only night we needed.
So when we were laying down the last vocals for "Without My Love," her new song, she was talking about mariachi. She said something about mariachi, and then she went into this song, and I can't remember the song that she sang, but the hairs on my arm stood up just because she's saying it with such emotion, and I'm like, yeah, that's right. I forget, Laura can,
She
can
has
really
pipes.
sing, yeah, and not to say that on the other song she does it, but it's just she's so you know diverse in how she can sing, and even in the cumbia stuff that she used to do. There's a song that she has that I love, and I have it on CD. And I just I get a kick out of hearing her vocal. She has this great little sultry type of raspiness or
Raspy.
something.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
love that
yeah,
raspiness she
yeah.
has.
It's so like I said, I told her I needed to work with her at some point. So I'm glad that I got to do it, and I'm glad people. So far, people have been reacting really, really good to it, and yeah, I hope that keeps up. We're going to keep promoting it and keep letting more people hear it and getting it out there. So, and so the official release date. So this hasn't gone out yet. So this is news. It's November 29th will
Oh wow.
be the official release date where it'll be available on all streaming services. So Spotify, Apple Music, all that. It'll be there. So look for it at the end of the month.
Amazing. And trust me, you guys are gonna be able to listen to the song. We're gonna play it for y'all. But one, I want to go back to "Only in My Dreams" real quick
Mm-hmm.
because Carlos, may he rest in peace. He told me the story behind it.
Mm-hmm.
That song actually came
To
from
him, yeah.
from
It,
a Spanish
yeah, so
song.
he had written it in Spanish first. So
Mhm.
and it was so Carlos used to have this band called Carisma, yes, thank you, Carisma, which Laura was the lead singer for, and Carlos wrote that song in Spanish. So I got to hear the cumbia version of that song, and then yeah, he changed it in English, and then added the freestyle beat to it, and that's how it ended up as the final track. But yeah, I got to hear the Spanish version.
So there's two versions to "Only in My Dreams."
What do you mean?
Yeah, well, there's the one that everyone hears, which
Yeah.
is just but then there's another one that was actually recorded very late and bien tomadillos.
Oh, really?
I don't know if you
Okay.
had anything to do with that one.
No, I mean, I remember hearing the demo of "Only in My Dreams" at Carlos's studio. When I met him and Rango Rangel Ruiz, also may he rest in peace, great, great guy. When I heard the demo, I was like, oh my god, these guys know how to produce. Like, I love the way that sounded. I'm like, okay, I'm hanging out with people that know like final product. And Carlos, had a lot of stuff out. He was definitely way more seasoned than I was. And he had worked with Heidi Mathis,
Yes.
Tables Turn. There's another song by Heidi Mathis that I can't remember the name of.
Now that you're gone.
Now that you're gone, that's right. That's, and so he already had that out. He had worked with Anthony Lewis. Shouts out to Anthony Lewis with Lupita, the house song. So he already had records out. So that was awesome to me. I'm like, oh yeah, I want to be just like this guy. So
I even heard that when Law heard it, they even wanted
oh really?
to sample the because if you listen, I mean, come on, Only in My Dreams is one of those songs that goes hard.
Yeah,
Like the instrumental is just, and that's what
yeah.
Laura likes.
Yeah,
So I feel so bad because when we did Tears, the version that I had sent her was a really hard version, like a really hardcore, freestyle. So when we got the final product, it was very watered down. She's like, I don't like this version at all.
yeah.
And yeah, to be honest with you, I didn't like it either. So Laura, I'm gonna redo that whole production because yeah, it was pretty wag. But that's what she likes. So when I heard the track that you guys did together, I'm like, oh yeah, of course. I mean, it's sick, dude. That
Yeah,
song
thank
is
you.
so
Yeah,
freaking
I definitely have a thing for trying to make songs kind of dramatic or just catch your attention. And and as I mentioned to you, I'm not really I mean, I wouldn't call myself a freestyle producer. I don't consider myself a freestyle producer. Um, but my sound is very retro, very 80s, and freestyle is a big part of the 80s. My main influences is a lot of 80s R&B. I grew up listening to a lot of R&B actually, and so those wet drums and kicking the snare right in your face.
yeah,
Artists like Pebbles and Mercedes and or Prince of the Revolution, those sounds of those drums really wet. I love that. And then I'm a big Madonna guy too. So the drums are a big part of it's what makes you move. So
yeah,
that and a really good bass line. But yeah, in this song I was definitely trying to go retro sounding, so it has that retro sound, and I do like people to kind of feel that nostalgia when they listen to music. Like, oh, it's not an old song, but it makes me feel like this. It's this old song. So I've been saying it's a new classic. That
it
I've
honestly it
it's a new
is.
classic.
I think one of the things I was telling you this earlier as well. One of the things that makes it more special is that it's Laura. Laura's like an enigma.
Mm-hmm.
She's not coming out with a song every week and then it
Right.
disappears. Like,
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned, she has Only in My Dreams, and then she has a song that was never released. That's called Alone in Love that she also did with Carlos.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, I mean, this has been years,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So for Laura to come up with a song and is this that's a song, it's fresh. It's something that
Yeah.
it's just different,
Yeah.
and it hits different. To be honest,
Yeah.
even when I heard it, I'm like, oh man, like this is it's reminiscing to that heartthrob old school sound, but it's fresh because again, Laura's not coming out with a song every single week.
And to be honest, my drive to do that song was my son. I was just trying to prove to my son because my son, he hears the music I do, and so like he couldn't imagine me doing freestyle. And the stuff that I do, I actually don't consider. So the music I do as an artist under the name the CF3 is very 80s, but it's more referred to as retro wave or synth wave. So honestly, it's the same elements as freestyle. It's just a different pattern of kick and snare, but it's basically the same wet drums and very romantic almost. And so it was really easy to just transition to make it a freestyle song. But again, my drive was to prove to my son, and my son's room is next to my to where I have my studio. So I told him like you were hearing the song, weren't you? Because as a producer, and anybody who has a family of a producer or musician, they get tired of hearing the songs over and over and over. And when you're a producer, you have to listen to the song over and over and over and over and just not get tired of it, because what you're listening for is, what can I change? Does this feel right? And for other people, it drives them crazy because, like, oh my God, stop playing that song. You've been playing it, nonstop. But that's the way it goes. Whenever I come up with a song, I'll be playing it a lot because, we're all our own worst critic. So I eventually had to get to the point where um, I had to stop analyzing something and say, okay, it's done, and just put it out there. And I try to do that now. I try not holding on to the things. As I mentioned to you earlier, I've got this OCD about me, so I like to, if I start something, I gotta finish it. I gotta hear it finished because I just can't leave something for, oh, I'll work on it later. I'll work on it later. I just gotta get it done. So, like,
We actually have that in common.
okay,
I'm
well,
like
it's
I'm like that too.
yeah,
I'm very impatient.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, like that's the reason when I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it.
yeah,
Like I don't like waiting for later,
yeah,
or I don't like to procrastinate or
yeah,
anything. Like I don't, I won't, and I'm like that with everything, not
yeah,
just with music, but even in my personal life.
yeah,
When I say I'm gonna do something,
right,
I'm gonna do it. You know,
yeah.
like, and I think that's a good thing.
Of course, it's a good thing,
It's actually a great thing because I'm pretty sure you have a lot of stuff
Mhm.
that you have not released probably yet.
Oh yeah, I mean, so very recently, I had this. I've been referring to it as a health event, where I lost hearing in my right ear. So, you know, I can't hear anything out of this ear, and I haven't for about a month now. So I was diagnosed with something called sudden sensory neural hearing loss, and it happened while I was sleeping. I was asleep on a Saturday, and when I woke up Sunday, both my ears were ringing. Now, mind you, I had attended a live event on that Saturday night, and I'm not much of a drinker. I've never really been much of a drinker, but I had like 3 beers that night. But I when I got home, I felt fine, and I went to bed. And when I woke up the next morning, I felt dizzy, and both my ears were ringing really bad. And I'm like, holy cow! I'm like, I don't remember the music being that loud for my ears to be this loud. I mean, for my ears to be ringing. And little did I know that I had lost all hearing in my right side until I went to go reach for my right ear, and I couldn't hear any sound whatsoever. I'd even stick my finger in my ear and I couldn't hear anything. So I panicked. I'm like, oh my God, what happened? I messed up my ear. I remember texting my nephew. Um, I'm like, I think I just lost my hearing. So I thought it was some kind of sinus infection, and it wasn't. And that following Monday, I'm like, I made an appointment with an ENT, and he saw me right away, and then they're the ones that diagnosed me. So I've been dealing with this for about a month now. I've been, getting therapy, and I can definitely say, the odds are against me because not a lot of people are able to get their hearing back after this happens to them. And, it's a scary thought. And then the first, you know, days and even weeks, I was just kind of like, I just couldn't believe it. I was going through grief basically. And I was thinking, that's it for music. I'm not going to do music anymore. And, but man, music will make you do some, it's like love, it'll make you do some crazy things. So I'm like, there's no way I'm letting go of music. I just got to find a way to work around it. So I've slightly been getting better, and I mean very, very slightly. So um, right now, the only thing I can hear in this ear are sub frequencies. So like a bass or a kick, anything that's low in frequency. I can't hear anything like a piano or a guitar or vocals, anything in the mid to high range. So if you think of an EQ, you've got your bass and you got your mids and you got your treble. So all I can hear is bass. I can't hear mids or treble. So anything within that range, I can't hear. But you know, I kind of fake myself into hearing stereo because I'll put on headphones, and especially if it's dance music, because there's a lot of bass, and so it almost sounds like stereo to me because I can hear them both in both ears. But I'm kind of praying to God, and working with my doctors, and doing all kinds of different alternative therapies to bring my hearing back. So,
Don't
but
worry, everything's gonna be fine.
yeah, I mean, you got to stay positive, and I gotta remember that this, even though it happened overnight, coming back is not gonna be as quick. So, I gotta be patient. So it could possibly take even a year, and the way I've been mentally preparing myself for that is just kind of acting as if this is permanent, and this I got to learn to wait to work around this. So I recently had a recording session with another freestyle artist from Chicago, Romero Sound. So, shouts out to Romero Sound. He laid down some vocals, and I explained to him, I've only got one ear right now, so it might seem weird how I gotta be listening to stuff. So yeah, normally you have both your speakers in front of you, and when you're in the studio, you set up the monitors so that's kind of like in a triangle, and so now I can't. That doesn't work for me because I've only got one ear. So now I have to so I can hear, and if I want to hear left and right, I actually got to put my ear on the left speaker or the right speaker, because that's the only way to do it. Or if I'm wearing headphones, I got to put them on the right way, and then if I want to listen to the other side, I got to flip them around and listen to the other side. So I'm just working around it, and that's I can't be stopped. I'm not gonna stop,
No,
and
absolutely not.
and that's how passionate I am about music. I you know, I,
Yeah, no,
there's
no,
no way I can stop. So, especially
yeah,
not right now.
no, no way. Because honestly, you have become the new sensation to freestyle.
Well,
You have, and
yeah,
I really do believe that this record is going to bring you guys a lot of attention. I mean, it's a great record. Also, yeah, shout out to Romero.
yeah,
Um, Javi is freaking amazing. I was telling you this behind
yeah,
cameras. I really do have this appreciation for him because he has a beautiful voice.
yeah. I told him that when we were in the session, I'm like, dude, I'm like, it's so weird to have you here, working with you, because I grew up as a DJ, so I was probably 14 years old or something, maybe 15 years old. With the legacy record, so or I'd hear them, or Tim Schomer, in his mixes, so I was already a fan of their music. So it's cool, all these years later to then be working with him. So that was pretty cool. But
That's
yeah,
amazing.
his new track, I'm not sure, on a date when that'll be out, but it's phenomenal. I think he did an awesome job. The vocals are just amazing. So yeah, looking
Well,
forward to that record too.
since you put your magic on it, I'm pretty sure it will. I mean, it's Javi. Javi, I, I like his voice. I'm not too much of a fan of male singers, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very picky when
Yeah.
it comes to like male singers, but Javi's one of those voices that I'm like, wow, like I really like listening to this guy's voice.
Yeah, he's. I think Well, when we were working on the track, so I to clarify, I didn't produce the song. I just did the vocal production on it. But when we were hearing it, because I told Javi, I'm like, the way to tell that it's a really really good song is if you can listen to the acapella, and the acapella sounds awesome, and it
Yeah.
does. And I turned to him and I said, I'm like, "Well, voice Tim and I'm like, this sounds good, all this harmonizing." So, yeah, it was fun to work on that with him.
So another thing um is that you actually laid vocals for Laura's new song.
Yeah, so I did the backup vocals on Laura's song, and it's I didn't want to make it seem like, oh, let me sing on it just because it's the song that I wrote, but I felt I needed a male backup on there, and again, I don't like relying on people. I didn't want to have to start trying to find a vocalist and see when he might be able to come in or whatever. So I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I'll lay him down. We'll lay him down tonight. They'll be back there. Don't worry, Laura. They'll be in the back, so it's not so in the front. So not to overshadow any of the stuff that she was doing. So it's very faint in the background, but you can hear male vocals, and yeah, that's me doing the backup
So you know what? I'm not gonna you know keep stretching this whole thing. Let's hear it.
Oh yeah, no,
Let's hear the
absolutely.
record. This is Laura's new single. It's called
Without my love.
"Without My Love." And after you guys hear it, we're gonna get back to you.
So surprised when I told you this was the end. I tried to be patient, but I can no longer pretend. I bet you thought that this would last forever and a day. But I'm moving on. I've got to go. There's no need for me to stay. Como llegamos aquí, pero ya no más, ya no puedo así. ¿Por qué me hiciste esto? ¿Por qué? Bye bye love. Now you gotta live without my love. I gave you everything I could, but you threw it all away. Now I've got to live a life all on my own. You should have learned to appreciate me, but now you're all alone, without my love. I gave you the best years of my life, gave you all that I could. You chose to ignore this faithful heart, not loving me like you should. With every passing day, my heartbreak only grows. You promised that you'd be there for me through the highs and the lows. No more second chances. I'm looking out for me. You can have me by your side, only in your dreams. Now you gotta live without my love. I gave you everything I could, but you threw it all away. Now I've got to live a life all on my own. You should have learned to appreciate me, but now you're all alone, all alone.
Wow, 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 wow. Like that's just yeah, that's freaking amazing.
I've heard it so many times, and yet it still makes me smile when I hear it. Just Laura did a fantastic job on it.
Laura, oh my God, Laura, what the
Mhm.
heck, bro? Like this is, it, you know what? Although I know that she has pipes, every time I listen to her sing, it's like, and I've heard her sing a cappella, and it's like what you said earlier, like se te paran los pelitos. You're like,
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
my God,
Yeah, she's
bro.
she's a great vocalist.
Yeah, I freaking love her so much. So, just shout out to Laura. Laura, I
Yeah.
freaking love you, dude. You already know. Um, I'm so happy, dude. I'm happy that you actually got her to do this. I'm happy you guys are promoting this new record. I know it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
And whatever I can do to help you guys promote it, I'll do anything because I
Well, this
freaking
is
love
already
it.
a start, so people are finding out about the record. Definitely share it with as many people as you can. And the more it gets, the more DJs play it. So um, I've reached out to a lot of DJs in Chicago, a lot of you know big names here in Chicago, and they've all had nothing but really good stuff to say about the record. And I know they're going to be playing it in their freestyle sets. And shouts out to Gino Rock and Romo as well. He's been a big supporter of a lot of my music. So I don't I was telling Javi, I guess, that Gino Rock and Roma has really been supporting the stuff that I've been doing. He's been playing it on his shows and stuff. And I've actually never met him in person. So I've actually never met Gino Rock and Roma in person. But he's a great guy. He's both him and the rest of the guys. Um, Reich and Numo Dan and I'm not forgetting people, but you know who you are. DJ Dinamico as well. He's another one that's been. So I've known Dinamico for lots of years, and I've been producing for lots of years. So Dinamico's been playing my stuff since like the very, very early 2000s or even late 90s. So whenever I have a new record or production out, I send it to him, and yeah, he puts it in his mixes and stuff. So I'm lucky to have a lot of people that support the stuff that I'm doing, especially in Chicago. So
I freaking love it. And you know what? One of the things that makes me more excited is that this is another one for Raw to perform.
oh yeah, yeah.
So
Well, she's got that performance coming up on the 15th,
Yeah.
November 15th. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. I told her I'll be there, but I'm gonna be wearing earplugs because I've only got one good ear right now, and I don't want to damage that. So, but I got to be there to support, and I'm looking forward to that show.
yeah, well, I'm gonna be there too.
Okay, awesome.
I
Yeah.
I have to see her perform
Yeah.
that record. Wow. I honestly, I'm speechless. I've heard so many freestyle songs that have come out lately, and it's always the same thing, the same stuff. But for some reason, this is just it hits different.
Yeah.
I was telling you during the song, like the horns. It's
Yeah.
like very nostalgic.
I grew up listening to George Lamont and the Cover Girls and Cynthia and Little Susie and everybody. So, it has those elements. So, one of my favorite, one of my favorite artists is TKA. So, just I had all those already in me, those ideas. So it was just finding a way to putting them in there and kind of as a salute to some of that older retro stuff, but still I've been referring to it as a old school vibe with a new school sound. So
Yeah.
at least that's what I was trying to go for. So something that could still be relevant and not just retro sounding, but also kind of new sounding. So I'm hoping I achieve that.
Oh no, trust me, you did. In so many ways. I mean, there's so much to say, but I mean, they heard it. People who've been hearing it, uh, like you said, you've been getting really great reviews on it. I freaking love it. I love it so much. On my way here, I was listening to it, so I kept playing it over and over.
Yeah.
Um,
Your neighbors are probably tired of hearing it then.
it's okay. And it's trust me, it's okay. I'm pretty sure they love it too. So what's going on with you? Like, what's new? What else is coming up for you?
Well, so I was kind of on a hiatus ever since the whole hearing thing, because again, I was kind of questioning where I was going to go from here. But I've got music that I'm constantly putting out under my own artist name, which is the CF3, which is very retro wave, both in English and in Spanish. So I've got I do have an EP out that I put out back in 2022, I think. So it's a 4-song EP, and then I've been releasing stuff very recently. So the thing that I'm most proud of, that I've had success with, and that I still pinch myself like I can't believe is, so I'm big, huge fan of this band Moenia. They're a synth pop band, from Mexico. They're one the biggest synth pop band in Mexico, and when I first heard their album, a buddy of mine, shouts out to Shaq. He used to work at Discolandia, this record store on 26th Street, and he would play me basically all the new pop. And he's like, "Oh, I think you'll like," since he knew I was like into Depeche Mode and stuff and alternative music. He's like, "I think you'll really like this band." So he let me use, or he gave me a copy of Adicion from Moenia, and I was really really into it. But then it wasn't until Le Modular or Le Modular, I forgot how you pronounce it, but I was just like automatic fan. As soon as I heard that album, I'm like, oh my god, this is fantastic. So when I got back into producing music for kind of like myself, that's kind of the style I was going for. So I really emulated that style because I was a big fan of theirs. And now fast forward, what, 20 years later, and now I'm working with the vocalist from Moenia. So
That's
I got to
freaking
put out
crazy.
I got to put out a song with him. So he actually, I sent him one of my demos. So I got to work with him on a track for a local band from Chicago, Chronovox, and so I met him, and I produced that song for them, and I got to meet Alfonso Pichardo, the vocalist, and I said, hey, would you mind me sending you, a demo of some stuff, see if you'd like something, and he's like, yeah, send it to me. He's like, but I'm gonna be really honest, if I don't like it, I'm like, fair enough. I'm like, I wouldn't expect you, not to. So yeah, he sent me a message and he said, I'm really excited about this one song, and I'm like, oh my god, he's excited about a song. So yeah, we got to work on that song. I couldn't believe that I was working on that song with him, and we've been friends ever since. So go figure. I get to be friends with one of my idols and stuff. So, and I've had some situations there where I've gotten to meet some of my idols, and it's been great. Another one of my idols is Alan Parsons, and I got to meet him, got to be in his house and break bread with him,
That's
and
amazing.
it was just such a great experience there. But I've had so many of these kind of experiences within the last, I don't know, 3 years. So ever since COVID, things just have been good, and that's part of my drive. So I want to keep doing that, and I put out music not because I consider myself like this great artist or whatever, but um, I tell people I put music out because I want there to be, when I finally leave this earth, I want there to be proof that I existed. That you can hear my music on whatever platform, and that'll stay out there forever. So I
There's
just try to put music out that way.
there's actually this quote because Selena's my idol.
Selena?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I grew up. I even have her name tattooed on me and everything.
Oh, cool.
So I grew up with her. Since I was like very very little. I was like 5.
Mm.
And she has this quote that says, oh shoot, don't make me forget. The goal is not to live forever; is to create something that will.
Oh, yeah. That's a great.
Which is true.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the reasons why I love music and I love to do it too. Because
Yeah.
I mean, we all know we're not gonna be here forever, but we can at least leave something behind to remind future generations that hey, somebody was here.
Yeah.
You know,
And the thing about art, whether it's visual art or music, whatever, is that you meet some really cool, interesting people. I mean, I've met so many musicians and folks that I have really great friendships with, and just talking about music, and it's a passion that's kind of in all of us. And I always say, once a musician, always a musician.
yes.
And I have this friend, a very long time friend, David Granado. We went to grammar school together. We're still very good friends. And he used to say, and I think somebody said it, and he would just repeat it, but it always stayed with me that he said, music was my first love, and it'll be my last. And yeah, that's so true for me. It's I can't not be into music. I've been doing it since I was 4 years old, so
Yeah,
it's part of my DNA.
I definitely agree. And it's funny because when you were saying about the singer of Bohemia, and
Mm-hmm.
the first song I ever heard in freestyle ever was Rochelle's "Praying for an Angel."
Yeah, great song.
Again, I was a little kid. I didn't know anything about
Yeah.
love or nothing. But I remember my brother used to put the radio on very low when we went to sleep,
Mm-hmm.
and at like around 9 o'clock, I remember they used to play it on B96,
Mm-hmm.
and I fell in love with it. For many years, I tried looking for this song, and I could never find it. And then I moved to New York, and I actually MySpace days.
Oh yeah.
I became friends with Rochelle,
Mm-hmm.
and we've been friends ever since.
Yeah, she's a great book. I got to meet her once. This guy that used to manage me and used to manage her actually. He brought her over to my studio, and I got to meet her. And inside, I was like, "Oh my god, that's Rochelle!" But and I'm sure she doesn't remember because it was just that one time. But yeah, I was like, I thought she had a fantastic. She has a fantastic voice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
okay.
one of those songbirds that
Yeah. And it's one of those classics, because you hear "Praying for an Angel" and you got to raise the volume
Yeah.
because it's just such a good song.
I'm so honestly, I've met so many people in this career, but I feel honored to have Rochelle and Laura as my friends, and it's crazy because Laura and Rochelle are really great friends too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I feel like the cool kid showing them off.
Yeah, I told Laura. I made a comment something like, "Come on, you're the queen of Chicago freestyle." It's like, no, that's my girl Rochelle. So,
She's so modest. But it's funny because I've been hearing a lot, and I see it a lot. They named Laura the princess of Chicago
Mhm,
freestyle, and they
yeah.
named Rochelle the angel of
oh,
Chicago's
is that right?
freestyle.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, oh, all right, like that's something. Every time I see flyers or something,
Yeah.
that's how they name them.
Yeah.
But to me, it's like that's Rochelle and that's Laura. That
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just proud of them. I'm proud of what they've done. They're both phenomenal singers. They have pipes. They're beautiful. I mean,
There was this record that Rochelle had. It was like this house record. It was this Latin sound. I can't remember the name of it, but
Nene.
Nene, that's right. Nene, yep, that's the one. When I was DJing, when I used to, DJ and DJ at clubs or whatever, I would always play that song. I love that song. It was just so hard, and her vocal, and I thought it sounded so sexy in the parts where she was like just talking and stuff. And yeah, it was. I love that. I love that song.
You want to know a fun fact about that song?
What's that?
She don't like it.
She doesn't like it.
She
Really?
doesn't like it.
Really? Wow.
It's one of those
I
songs
mean,
that
it's
she didn't
because she
like.
could do so much, and that just didn't let her shine her vocals as much. But I mean, it's a great song. I think it's a hard hitting.
Another one that I
song.
really like of hers is called "Holding On to Love."
Oh yeah, "Holding On to Love." Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember
And
that song, yeah.
I don't know if a lot of people know this, but she's done bachata music.
Oh, yeah,
She has a whole full album of bachata.
Yeah.
She's done reggaeton. She's done
Yeah.
There's this crazy song. It's like a hip hop, song where she sings with a guy.
Mm.
But the story is, I guess she caught him cheating or something, and she was gonna put a bullet in his head. Like, bro, that song goes so wild.
Yeah, it sounds like reggaeton.
But it's actually a hip hop song. It's she's done a lot of stuff, and I think that's the reason why I appreciate them both, because Laura has done cumbia, Tex-Mex music.
Yeah.
Obviously she does freestyle.
Right.
Rochelle lo mismo. They're just
Well, that's the thing about them. They're not freestyle singers. They
No,
just
they're
happen to
just
be, have vocals on freestyle songs, but
yeah.
they're very diverse. And like I said, Laura can sing the hell out of some mariachi. She's
Yes,
just great.
that's
Great singer.
I don't. I know a lot. I'm gonna get a lot of crap for it, but I don't consider them freestyle singers.
Yeah, no, they're not
Um,
freestyle singers.
they're very versatile.
Mhm.
So, um, I mean, they're just phenomenal. So shout out to both of them.
Yeah.
They're freaking amazing. You're freaking amazing.
Oh, go on.
No, it's true. Like the stuff that you've sent me.
Yeah.
Wow. Like the production top notch, vocals top notch. And I know I don't know why you always you're like no when it comes to your vocals, but you have pipes.
Well, thank you. Like I said, we're all our own worst critics, so I don't consider myself a great vocalist, but I do enjoy singing, and
There's people who do freestyle music who wish they had your voice because trust me, I think that's what
Yeah.
freestyle needs.
yeah,
Really great vocals.
yeah. I mean, there's some good, people out there. Some really good singers. I'd like to, I want to open up any floodgates and say, I want to work with a bunch of people, but, because I am kind of selective on the stuff that I do. Like I said, I'm not a freestyle producer. I'm not putting myself out there as a freestyle producer. I know the genre. I enjoyed listening to a lot of the classics and a lot of even some newer artists that are out there. And but I don't know. I'm just a guy making music and trying
Don't
to
say that.
you know
Especially when you come from a circle where some of the greats like Carlos.
yeah. Well,
Uh,
I was talking the other day about JJ Flores, who was a excellent producer. Like whenever I would see a record that was produced by JJ Flores, I'm like, okay, this is gonna be really good. Same thing with the guy that just passed from New York. I can't think of his name. Oh man, I can't think of his name. But he's a famous. Oh, the guy that produced "Let the Music Play." I just can't remember his name. Well, a lot of stuff. It wasn't just that, but he was very well known for that.
from
but
Shannon.
yeah, yeah.
Really?
I can't think of his name. I got his name on the tip of my tongue, but yeah. And there's other producers like Carlos Barrios, and there's a bunch of other producers that I grew up listening to those records and those producers and
That's another
know.
producer that I really respect, Carlos Barrios.
oh yeah, there's
He's
there's just
he's
so many.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I freaking love that guy.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you.
Hmm.
Obviously, you're Latino, right?
Yeah, Mexicano.
Really?
Yeah.
No freaking way. I heard that little accent.
Yeah, Mexicano. I always tell my kids it pisses me off that anywhere I go, for some reason, especially if it's a grocery store, forget it. They will, I think, automatically assume I don't speak English, and they'll speak to me in their broken up Spanish, trying to communicate with me. I'm like, I speak English. It's not that I tengo el nopal en la cara. Que,
No.
I don't look like I speak English, but yeah, my family's from San Luis Potosí. I got to live in San Luis Potosí. My heart is in San Luis Potosí. I love San Luis Potosí. It's always a pleasure to go back there. I got to live some of my childhood there, my adolescence there, and yeah, I love San Luis Potosí. But for the most part, I was born and raised in Pilsen.
Wow, no way.
Yeah.
That's well, Pilsen is one of those places that is very cultured.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's even in what was it, the big news in the New York Times that it was talking about Pilsen as one of the like top neighborhoods in Chicago.
Oh
So
wow.
but yeah, I get born and raised in Pilsen, throughout the 80s and 90s, and it wasn't until more recently that I moved out. Once I became a parent, I just you start thinking differently, and you kind of you move on to someplace else. So no longer in Pilsen, but my definitely I'm a product of Pilsen.
But it changed.
Oh yeah, no, it's gentrification's everywhere. So I got to see Pilsen when people referred to it as La 18. It was you don't want to be hanging out in La 18 back in the 80s. But yeah, now it's Pilsen. Now it's kind of yuppie, and it's no more a
Very preppy.
family. It's kind of more like a Wicker Park, I guess. It's not so many families as it is more students and things.
Yeah.
But still a great place, and I like to say that I'm from Pilsen. So,
Yeah, it's honest. Yeah, it's one of those. It's like it's a staple in Chicago. Obviously, home. I remember my grandma used to work in Pilsen, so I was
mhm.
you know around there. It it's just I don't know. To me, um, Chi-Town is just it's home.
Yeah, absolutely. Anywhere in Chicago is home. It's proud to say I'm from Chicago.
Well, unfortunately, I'm not from here.
Oh, you're not from Chicago?
No. I'm actually from Florida.
Oh, okay. So you're a
Oh.
transplant.
Yeah. My brothers are.
Yeah. Well, how long have you been in Chicago? Have you been in Chicago longer than you were in Florida?
Well, when we were little, we moved a lot because of my dad.
Oh, okay.
So I'm the only one that was born in Florida. All three of my brothers were born here.
Oh, okay. All right.
They say I'm adopted. Probably. I don't know. I mean, soy el más bonito de la familia.
Yeah, you gotta love older siblings. My siblings used to tell me that when I was about to be born, that they told my mom, well, your son, because my mom had me, late in life, and because I'm the youngest of 7,
Oh wow.
and so according to my siblings, of course they're playing, but they're like, yeah, they told her, well, he's either gonna be born dead or he's gonna be slightly off. So I obviously wasn't born dead, so I'm slightly off.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, they used to tell me that I was adopted because I'm not from here. I'm the only kid that's from somewhere else. It kind of sucks though because I've been raised here in Chicago.
Yeah.
And I call it home,
Mhm.
but yeah, my home is not here.
Yeah. Well,
It-
wherever you lay your head is home.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Again, I lived in Houston. I lived in New York. All over the place.
Yeah.
I lived in Cali,
Mm.
so it's like
Well, I got a special place in my heart for California just because I've had so many really cool experiences there.
¿qué parte de California?
So LA for sure, but most recently, well, I fell in love with San Diego when I got to go right out of I don't know, probably in my early 20s or something. We went to a buddy of mine, David, and we went to go see. We're big Morrissey fans, so we went to go see Morrissey opening up for Jaguares
Oh wow.
in San Diego, open air. It was like a House of Blues open air auditorium or something. And I just fell in love with San Diego. It was just so gorgeous. In my mind, I had always said I would never move out of Chicago. And then once I went to San Diego, I'm like, oh my God, it's gorgeous. But more recently, when I got to meet Alan Parsons, when I went to his recording studio, it was in Santa Barbara. And Santa Barbara is just gorgeous. It's just so, so beautiful. Expensive as hell, of course.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful. Like, I wouldn't mind living out in LA for a little bit. I think that'd be really, really cool. But
A little vacation wouldn't hurt
well, yeah,
because I'm pretty sure
it hurt.
you're gonna
It
come back.
hurt the wallet, but we couldn't hurt.
No, it
anything
is
else.
honestly.
Yeah.
LA. California is really expensive.
Oh yeah.
We used to live in Anaheim,
Oh yeah.
so we were like 9 minutes away from Disneyland.
Mm,
Todas las noches a las 9 you would see fireworks.
mm,
That was just a regular thing already.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I love Chi-Town. I've been accepted with my music. Not in here.
mm.
In other places, they
Yeah.
open the doors for me.
Yeah.
But come on, this is home, regardless.
Yeah.
So I really love it. Rob, thank you so much, man.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for coming. Honestly, it's an honor for me. Um, I've heard of you. I've never met you in my life. I've
Yeah.
never seen a picture of you, but Carlos would talk about you. Um, especially when only and my dreams would come up.
Yeah.
And now to have you here is just thank you so much.
Yeah, well, it's nice to meet somebody else who got to work with Carlos, and you know, uh, thanks for reaching out and for
Absolutely.
helping support, the music that I'm putting out, and
And not just with this one. Like, voy a estar al pendiente de todas tus cosas because
yeah,
I love your sound. I really do love your sound. I think
Thank
you
you.
have such a fresh sound that we desperately need right now.
yeah. Well, there's definitely more to come. So this is just the beginning.
Great, great. I love it so much. Once again, Rob, thank you. I really appreciate it. You guys, please check out Laura's new single, "Without My Love." Ya saben, va a salir en noviembre
yeah.
29.
Yeah, November 29th, November 29 on all platforms, Spotify, iTunes, everywhere. You'll even be able to, pull it up on Instagram or Facebook if you want to use it on there. But November 29th, and definitely check out if you want to hear more stuff of my music and my remixes and stuff. Check out the CF3 on any platform, either YouTube or Spotify, or I'm everywhere, so you can't miss me.
Míralo.
Yeah, gotta get it out
Everywhere.
there. Yeah, everywhere.
That's awesome. I freaking love it. Oh, and by the way, a quick shout out también because you are working with Romero.
That's
So
right. Yeah, I'm working with Romero.
check out for Romero's new single too.
Yeah. So I'm not sure when that's coming out, but yeah, definitely check out Romero's sound. He's got some cool songs out there. Ex-member of Legacy. And yeah, I look forward to when that record comes out.
Same here. So once again, mi familia, I love you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for every single one who commented, who's been on the chat with us. Laura, I saw you were watching. I love you. Congratulations. You know you kicked ass. It's freaking amazing. And cosas buenas van a venir. So once again, thank you guys.
Thanks.